Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Justin the Food Entrepreneur Show. I'm Justin Bizzarro. I'm your host. That's Bizzarro. For anyone who's out there, you can find us on Instagram at Justin the Food Entrepreneurs, or you can find me personally at Justin Bizzarro. Again, that's two Z's, two R's. You can also find us on Spotify or wherever else you grow yourself through podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, etc. So I'm excited. I have Matthew Foster back with us from Phew. How are you doing, Matthew?
Great. How are you?
Good. It's been a minute.
Been about 2 years now,
yeah,
since we last spoke.
yeah, 2 years. October of 2022, to be exact, somewhere around there. How are you doing? How is your business doing?
I'm doing well. Business is doing good, of course, as an entrepreneur, yeah, a businessman. With any business, there's ebbs and flows. So, we've had some peaks, we had some valleys, but, right now we are stable and we are good.
Talk to me. I mean, when we first started talking, your claim to fame was sort of the lemon pepper chicken pizza, if I remember correctly. Is that something that's still popular, or there new trends and stuff that are happening? And talk to me a little bit about the difference between where your business was 2 years ago versus where it is now.
Well, yeah, lemon pepper is still reigning supreme as the number one most popular pizza if you
It's
buy.
incredible.
But also the oxtail and ricotta pizza is a very close second. We'll be introducing some new flavors in this first quarter of the year, as well as bringing back some specialty fan favorites that's been requested. But new since last we spoke, now have a food truck, a food trailer.
There we go. I love it. So
Yeah, we
smart
have a
move.
food trailer. We have our own prep kitchen,
Nice.
where we prep for all our pop-ups out of. And we've been doing a lot of brand partnerships with various brands from, Nike to Under Armour to we work with Miller Knoll a lot as well. So yeah, growing pains. I'll say 2024 was a year of growing pains. All my bills pretty much doubled. So getting acclimated with that, as well as, trying to continue to grow the business it was a interesting year, but we made it out. We made it out on the positive side. We have a lot to look forward to in 2025.
Let's talk about a few things here really quickly. The one of them is like your inspiration. Why do this? Why pizza? Let's talk about how you got in this. Let's touch upon it again, even though the first episode we did together was episode 184 for the audience, and the second one we did was episode 190 for the audience to go back and listen to those. A lot has changed in both our lives, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But talk to me about why pizza, what inspired you, what keeps you going the pizza route, so let's go, back in the day. Talk about the journey here again. Let's give the audience a little view of the rear view mirror in your car.
Got you, for sure. So started doing pizza during the pandemic. My inspiration was Frank Pinello and The Pizza Show, which is a YouTube show powered by Munchies, where Frank would go around the country and really the world tapping in different pizza scenes. So he never came to the South. And I thought, okay, if I had to create a pizza that represented where I'm from, what would that look like? So that's how the lemon pepper wet pizza was born. So during the pandemic, I honed my skills making pizza. I put out a menu with the lemon pepper as one of the featured products. A friend of mine came, and I was selling out of my townhouse at this time. Of course, everything was shut down. Buddy of mine came, bought one, put it on Twitter, and it went viral. So it was like an overnight sensation. Then the next day, well-known rap artist, Grammy Award-winning icon of Atlanta, Killer Mike, retweeted the same tweet, and it went super viral. So from that moment on, I've been doing pizza. What keeps me going, honestly, is I really do enjoy pizza. It's my favorite food. I'm big on service. One of my models I live by is God is first, others are second, and I am third. So I've always gotten joy out of helping people and serving people. So I feel like with pizza, it's one of the mediums that I get to, share a little bit of me and, serve my community with some good eats. Uh, so yeah, that's what's been motivating me,
Well,
keeping me going.
and what way to touch more people with this skill that God's given you and do his work than through pizza and the food trailer and everything. I mean, the amount of people you touch, have
Yeah,
impact on, influence is huge.
thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Um, it's been exciting. I've done several interviews like this. And I want to thank you for being one of the first people to reach out and put me in a long format of giving my testimony. That's been really humbling for me. But in a lot of the, I guess, interviews and things that I've done, I have seen that, oh, people actually do know me and know who I am and are proud of me and excited about it. You know, I'm the type who I just keep my head down to keep working. The reward for good work is more work. So I try to, tackle it like that. Every once in a while, you come up for air when you can smell the flowers. So interviews like this is one of those times where like, oh, I can smell the flowers. This is pretty cool. And, it keeps me going as well. Seeing my impact on other people and then the lane I've carved and created in Atlanta is a big inspiration and a driving force of, me to keep going and not give up.
Yeah, I love it. Let's pause for a second. Where can they find you online? Where's your website? How can they book you for catering or pop-ups? And how do they find out your schedule, all of that type of stuff?
So the website is phewpies.com, phewpies.com. If you follow us on Instagram, our social media handle is the same thing, phewpies, Phew Pies. We post every week our schedule, where we're going to be at. And if you are looking to book us for any catering or private events, you can email us at pies, pies at gmail.com.
Awesome. Let's talk about mentors, inspirations, things growing up. We talked about the YouTube specifically and pizza and sort of this love of pizza that you had that you've now turned into a business. And not only did you turn it into a business, but one of the hardest things to do as entrepreneurs is is take ideas, turn them into fruition, and then turn that fruition into actually generating revenue.
Yeah.
Just because we put out something doesn't mean it sells, is what I'm saying. And so,
and I'm that's very true. You can say that again. Just because you put it out, don't mean it's gonna sell.
yeah,
I
just because you
always
put out
say
some.
we're not selling car insurance where everyone has to have it.
Yeah, exactly,
So
exactly.
to pick pizza and then pick me is a lot. So I'm very appreciative of that.
So I mean, let's talk about like the entrepreneur thing, or I mean, did you always want to be independent in that way? Like that's one, but sort of mentors growing up, inspiration, this sort of thinking of freedom through doing business on your own. Where did all of it come from?
I mean, subconsciously, it's always been there. I never really had any inspiration for real, to start my own business. Growing up, I wanted to work in movies. Well, at first I wanted to be a basketball player. Like most little boys want to be a pro athlete. But once so I wasn't growing anymore, I gave that up. And I've always been fascinated with movies. So I wanted to be in entertainment production or movie production in some facet, but never in the capacity of like owning my own studio or owning my own production company or anything like that. However, growing up, I always had, influences and figures around me who were entrepreneurs and business owners and businessmen and women. My father was a partner at his practice, which he then took over later on in my life. I call him my third granddad, is icon, just period, Herman Russell. If you don't know who he is, definitely have to go check him out. He is a Black entrepreneur from Atlanta, Georgia, who's had his hands all over Atlanta when it comes to real estate, when it comes to concessions. He's helped build the airport. Helped build housing projects all throughout Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. There's little to none that you can go around in Atlanta and not see his impact and influence. This is a man that I got to sit down with and, you know, call my third grandfather my whole life. So having, you know, figures like that, my mother was a lawyer. She had her own tax attorney business. And outside of that, she was just a go-getter herself. I remember the 96 Olympics, her and my dad, I think it was just her. I think it was just my mom. She had a push cart down at Centennial Olympic Park selling memorabilia for the Olympics, from hats to pins to t-shirts, fanny packs. So having, I guess, that hustler's mentality and ambition has always been around me and affected me, even when I wasn't, you know, noticing it. So I've been blessed to come up around, and those are just a few people. I've been very blessed to be brought up in culture of, I guess, Black empowerment, Black entrepreneurship since I can remember. So yeah, that's definitely been an influence of mine that, you know, now I can look back as I have my own business and company and see the lessons or see how, oh man, look, you might have been predestined for this because you was around, you know, these people, you were raised by these individuals. So it's been instilled in you and it's been in you for ever.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally can relate to that. Exactly. We are a product of our environment.
Hmm.
100% truth. We can have independence or do all of those things, but one of the things is it does take a village to raise a good human. And it is important that we still realize that, because true success in any abundance form, whether it's just, you know, having peace or having a legacy or generational wealth or generational abundance or generational whatever, it comes down to that. And so the other thing that I think that is important is in that surrounding of those same individuals, that sort of that product of our environment,
Hmm.
is we can choose it. You know, when we grow up, we rely on our parents, but after that, we get to choose what that environment is and what we're the product
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
It's a pretty powerful thing when people say, I don't have control over my life and my life isn't happening the way I want it to. Right?
Everything's our fault.
Yeah.
Everything's our fault. I
Yeah.
was joking with my dad earlier this week. We had, you know, a set time to meet, and he's like, "You're becoming very, very punctual. Punctual. You right on time. The last 4, 5, 6 times we've gotten up, you've been very punctual." I was like, I got a new motto, like being late is a choice. And once you take accountability of, like you said, your life and all your actions, everything's your fault. You know, nothing is not your fault. If you got breath in your body and you can make decisions,
Yeah.
you know, it's yours.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say is the biggest difference in who you were 2 years ago when you were first starting this business, maybe 3 years ago now, 4 years ago, whenever it's been, who the difference in the human? I mean, you just touched upon one of them. That's sort of why I'm bridging this. One of them is the
Mhm.
punctuality. What else do
Yeah.
you feel has sort of, because of the discipline that you have to have as an entrepreneur, because other people are relying on you, because your image, your character, your reputation almost becomes public image, and anyone who's smart cares about that because it does matter in the long run, especially universally. And you know, how is that? How have you grown in those ways? How has this forced you to grow?
Well, one, it's definitely giving me discipline, definitely giving me structure and accountability. I'm not the only person who relies on the product that I sell now. I got a team of people that look to me not only for financial support, but any type of motivation or guidance that I can, you know, bestow on them. Patience too. He's given me a lot of patience, mainly with myself. I've I'm my biggest critic with it in life, you know, going through this journey of starting the company and growing it. You have to give yourself some grace and some patience to grow. It's not going to be an overnight thing. You're going to have some pitfalls. You're going to make mistakes, but you can't be too hard on yourself to where you think nothing's going to change or you're not going to make it out. You know, give yourself some grace. So patience is another thing that I've given, I've learned to give myself and other people too. Dealing with unruly customers on a regular basis, or you know, texting situations will give you a lot more patience in life too. So
And no matter which way you shake it, if a customer's angry, no matter how obnoxious or how much free stuff they want or whatever, at some point, there is the point where you will get, if you keep asking enough questions, where there is something you've done wrong that you could have done better and pivot
exactly,
next time, for
yeah,
sure.
and it's personal, but it's not at the same time. Like,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah, take it personally, but also with a grain of salt too. It's like it's not an attack or on your character or assassination of your character, but also don't write it off as like, oh, well, they're just being a butt right now. Like, no, they probably have a legitimate argument in their stance. So try to take that and learn from it.
Yeah, because there's such an opportunity, whether it's they're having a bad day and they're just looking to take it out on someone, or it is something legitimately wrong. Any way that the situation is going on, there's an opportunity there to turn that into a loyal customer or address the situation in a way that leaves impact and influence for a better world. Both of those things can happen in one transaction, a business transaction that benefits your business and your employees and your vendors and whoever else, your whole ethos, your
Hmm.
ecosystem. And then there's also the thing where how does it universally help? And then
Right.
being able to do that in one transaction as an entrepreneur or as a business is a big deal. I don't think enough people in their customer service transaction realize the universal benefit of doing the right thing. And if you level up in that way, how much better it gets.
Yeah. That goes back to one of our previous conversations, speaking about quality of the product as well, where, if you have quality customer service, that goes just as far, if not a little further than the quality of your product. You know, been places that the food is amazing, but the service is trash. So I was like, I'm not going back. And had they fixed a few things and, checked a couple attitudes amongst the staff, they'll have a forever client. And I take heed to that a lot. If I get any complaints, I try to rectify. I don't try to throw shit at people, excuse my language. I don't try to throw shit at people to, put lipstick on a pig. I don't think we have any pigs, but just the saying. But I will do my best to make sure that that customer leaves as satisfied as possible through, said discrepancy.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, within reason and within growth and within trying to do the right thing by the customer and by the business. I agree
Mhm.
100%. The the environment for business, Atlanta, things you went through COVID, there were shutdowns,
Mhm.
mass, unmasked. They went through a lot of that stuff. Not to drag any of that up, but how do you feel the entrepreneurial environment and the food entrepreneur environment is going on there right now? You've been in the game a long time. You've
Mhm.
seen a really crazy situation and come out of that situation now with a trailer, with mobility, with a prep kitchen. Talk to me a little bit about that. How do you feel the market is for you now?
I feel the market's wide open, really. There's been like a culinary renaissance happening in Atlanta. So we've got the Michelin guide now coming down here to look at restaurants. We have a lot more of, different cuisines popping up because we're in the South. So people think we're wings and soul food, but I see a lot of Indian, Mediterranean, Haitian, African cuisines popping up. As far as, me and pizza, the pizza scene has grown a lot here in Atlanta, and I don't take any credit from it, but I know I have carved out my own lane when it comes to pizza here. Everyone's just waiting on the restaurant now. That's what I get from the majority of my constituents. People who come support me. It's like I can't wait to get a restaurant so I can come all the time. So
Yeah.
I feel like 2025. Fingers crossed we can make that happen and continue growing and serving the community good pizza because good pizza is needed everywhere. It's definitely needed here in Atlanta.
Yeah, I was one of the things that I'm gonna say, well, I went from spending tons of time in Georgia over a 10-year period and even living there for 2 years to not having spent much time there. But I was just there last summer-ish, somewhere around then. And I was surprised by how much growth is happening in Atlanta, particularly in the food scene. I agree there is a renaissance, but I think there is a lot of things about Atlanta that make sense. It's not far from the beaches, whether it's South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida. You've got Orlando, Miami. You've got Nashville, which is not too far now from Atlanta either, which is becoming quite a popular spot for food and for entertainment. Yeah. Charleston, exactly, which is really popping off. I mean, it's been trending for a long time in a trendier place, but now we're starting to see this same thing, a lot of food going there, a lot of businesses going there, a lot of popularity there, and it's not far from Atlanta. So we're starting to see a growth there, and Atlanta's got room to grow, and there are a lot of suburbs, and it does sprawl, and it does have an airport that can continue to grow a little bit more. I believe the thing's massive. But,
they added on to it now. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I know. I remember I had this bright idea where I was going to walk from the international terminal all the way to baggage claim and the domestic one, and it was underground for, I swear, I think it took us an hour and 20 minutes. But once I started, I refused to ride the tram. That's that stubborn discipline. Sometimes it works against me, But,
that's a nice little track.
Yeah. And there's probably a video somewhere of it, but I think that's what we're talking about here is we're starting to see this boom, maybe 10, 15 years ago, Georgia really started trying to attract the right people to the state to do business, to build the economy. And I think that's part of what we're seeing there. It's part of the reason I brought it up for sure. Is there anything that you'd like to talk about? Anything that's new in your life that you feel that we haven't talked about, or anything that you want to talk about the future of your business? We talked about a brick and mortar possibly, but I mean, what else is there? Do you have employees now? What does that look like? How has been building this thing from brick to brick?
Yeah. I mean, we have a solid team of about 4 outside of myself. So it's a solid team of 5. Newness, planning on adding some more menu items and starting what I'll call Phew Frozen. So we do frozen pizza, just something to where people can still experience Phew Pies without having to find a food truck or a pop-up. Take it home and enjoy it in the comforts of your home. Newness in life, I'm an uncle now. My brother had twins this year. So in about 12, 14 years, I have some more employees for sure.
Yeah, dang, right.
But seeing that, seeing him and my sister-in-law raise the 2 beautiful children, it brings a little motivation. Like, okay, I got some college funds to attribute to, so let me work a little harder. But yeah, personally and professionally, that's the new stuff we got going on Phew Pies. We're introducing what I will call zones. So they're mini calozones, and how Atlanta is kind of mapped out is through the 6 zones that we have, which are zones 1 through 6, respectfully. And we got that from the police precincts throughout the city. So each zone will have its own flavor of calzone. So zone 1, which I'm from, would definitely be the lemon pepper wet. And then we'll figure out each one flavor wise, but I want them to speak to each community too. So, you'll find more lemon pepper wings and stuff of that nature on the west side of town where I'm from. And then, east side, you'll find a little more, the south side, you'll find a little more Caribbean flair. So I think the oxtail would be the one for the south side. And then, Phew Frozen. Hopefully get into some grocery stores with that one. But that is what we're working on for 2025.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the frozen pizza idea. You should look into Goldbelly if you haven't already. That's a way to ship your frozen pizzas. Ship your pizzas nationwide frozen.
Okay, thank you for that.
Especially if people come try it, since your popularity is out there. One of the reasons I reached back out to you, because I saw someone posting about the oxtail pizza that had come back up from, I don't know, weeks or months ago, and it was starting to trend again. And
Yeah.
so it's like, oh my gosh, like I should reach back out since I'm starting to line up the podcast episodes again for
Yeah. I
recording.
appreciate it.
And so I think that I mean, anything that you can create new is important. I think the mini calzone food trailers or any location now, the more hands, finger food, on the go type of
Yes.
stuff we can do, the better. That is a
Yeah.
generational thing. We are seeing
Yeah.
food on the go is more popular. There's a reason that some of the most popular influencers on social media are doing their reels in their car while eating their Taco Bell.
Yeah, you got Keith Lee, you got Mr. Chime Time.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
you got several other, I can't think of their names right now,
Yeah.
doing from their car,
From their car.
yeah,
And
getting them
so,
go. So that's something I definitely want to get into. And it really influenced by working in nightlife and doing pop-ups or bringing the truck out to clubs. People who had a couple libations need some on their food and quick. So if, a pizza take 5 to 7 minutes to make, but I want it, I need it now. So if I could have, the mini calzones to, give and, you can walk around with, make them and then have like maybe a hot box or something like that where you can grab and go.
yeah, I love that. I think not to talk about a bigger person, but I think there are some competitors out there, the very large ones that have some good models of that like pizza
Hmm.
pickup. Like, I don't know if
Yeah.
it's patented or not, but there is some way that I love that they have their like cheese and their pepperoni, their basic popular ones. I think depending on the
Hmm.
region of the country it's in, there's some other ones in there. But I think
Yeah.
with you, where it's specific, where people are hunting down certain pizzas, I think I love the
Yeah.
idea. I agree with you. And I think that what you're going to find is you have a good story, you have a good product, you have a creative mind, and you're
Yeah.
looking at business from a very good standpoint of community. I mean, the thing you just talked about, the
Facts.
Gazones, is community based, right? It's all about
Yeah.
those communities. And whether we do it
Exactly.
intentionally or not as humans, we create human constructs and boundaries that don't really exist, but then we
Hmm.
call them one, twos, threes, and they tend to grow cultures of their own.
Exactly. Exactly.
So that's, what we're talking about here. And I like the calzone also because eventually what we're seeing is with, particularly in the United States, as we go more European age, we keep our urbanization sprawls. We become less reliant on driving our own cars and things like bicycles, electric bikes, electric boards, whatever, all of these things. We become more transient. And like on a skateboard, I can eat while I'm going, or if I'm walking with my family and my kids,
Exactly.
I can eat while I'm going. And the
Hmm.
Europeans have adapted to this in a lot of their models. It's a reason they have street facing venues all the time, because people are on the go eating and they're snacking as they go. This is
Right.
becoming a trend here in urban environments. Whether
Yeah.
anyone wants to see it or not, I get it. Fast food, the easy, we still see major growth in suburban environments, but in urban, and as suburban gets more attached to urban connectivity, transportation wise, what we're going to see is more of this on the go type of eating.
Hmm.
Yes. Will people eventually sit down? Sure. Will people still sit down? Yes. Is it good to
Yeah.
have seating? Sure.
Yeah.
But what we're really
Convenient.
starting to see is this portability of food with the individuals. And
Yeah.
you see a lot of people trying to catch it. That's why Taco Bell is like, gosh, the tacos, we love it. They're just not as portable. We need a chicken nugget.
Yeah. I just saw or just heard about the commercial and Taco Bell's making chicken nuggets. Like, shit, I ain't mad at them.
I mean, they use
I'm
tortilla
not mad at
shells,
them.
crunch tortilla
Yeah.
shells or whatever, chips or whatever. So it
Oh
makes
yeah, to
sense.
make yep, yep, yep. It's a better crunch.
Yeah, I mean, they
Um,
pretty good. I would try them. Someone I was with the other day had brought them
okay.
in with them and they weren't bad. But my point
Okay.
being is this is the trend, guys. The food is becoming more portable. We're starting to
Hmm.
see it. There's a reason that those little biggie bags and everything is because they're easy to order. They're easy to go. They're in smaller portions, so they're easy to eat.
Right.
And
Right. I
so
feel
while value meals matter because I want a good helping of food, what we also need to look at is that portability factor and what does that truly look like For
Hmm.
Chick-fil-A, it's not going to matter. They're going to get the business in right now, no matter what. People are going to eat it, no matter how
Exactly.
complicated. But for everyone trying to make their way in the world and design concepts and prepare for the future, I agree with you. I think what you're doing is spot on. That's why pizza rolls, I saw someone doing pizza rolls again where they're baking pizza, rolling them, and then frying them real quick in like some sort
Mm,
of Parmesan breaded crust. Oh
that
my God.
sounds good.
It is ridiculous. I recommend trying something like that and see where it goes.
Yeah, definitely.
But
I'm
the
definitely have to
pizza
try
rolls
something
are
like that.
portable.
Yeah.
They're rolled up pizza and people grab them and
Right.
they can dip them in the sauce and they can choose from different sauces, which was another thing they had like vodka sauce and lemon pepper sauce
Yeah.
and all sorts of stuff. And I'm like, okay, like I'm starting to see this, like we're starting to compound, deconstruct and reconstruct in some ways, but not only limit us to one sauce on a pizza by doing a pizza roll. And
Right.
so that's kind of interesting. Oh, I really like the tomato sauce, but I like the Alfredo also. I'm going to have some of that or the Parmesan cream or whatever, the
True.
vodka, the
Yeah. Yeah.
Diablo.
Yeah.
I don't know, but whatever. But I think those are all cool. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with next for sure. Is that how you get most of your ideas? Do you use social media, YouTube? I know you found the pizza channel on there. Quite,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. I watch a lot of food content. One of which I've been watching a lot is plating art on YouTube. So seeing just how certain ingredients can be used outside of the box or used 6 times in one dish is very inspirational. And then I look back to like I've been spending a lot of time with my grandma recently. So looking back at her recipes and how she makes food has also been a great inspiration and influence on, what I want to do in the near future.
You took something that was trendy or whatever, also a classic, and you turned it into pizza. There's probably a lot of things like that. I don't even know,
Oh yeah.
sausage and gravy or whatever, and breakfast
Yeah,
pizzas
yeah.
and the whole
Staple,
other
staple
world.
foods,
Yeah.
staple foods and comfort foods that can be reimagined in kind of like a different medium. Like I did not know I could make a Benedict pizza, but yeah,
Yeah.
you can.
I know
It's
it's
been
anything's possible. I mean, the
anything
sourdough
else.
pizza thing, also that the craze that's going on. I mean, people are just
Oh
so
yeah,
creative, and I love it. And I think it's so
yeah.
cool. Talk to me a little bit about sourcing. Has that changed from when you were doing it in your home to now that you have your own facility, your own food truck? How's that changed? Has your product quality changed in any way? I mean, how has that changed your business having more of a
We
location?
sourcing wise, we still use the same quality and same produce that we've always used. We'll never dip on that. We'll never cut that corner. Having my own prep kit facilitates more production so I can make more at one time and house it too, because I have way more refrigeration than my townhouse afforded. So that also allows me to, serve more communities and more people. Before I could only make a certain amount of dough a day and house it properly, so that would lead me to probably one event a day. And now I can make a lot, a lot more dough, a lot more sauce, a lot more lemon pepper chicken. So now it's more than just me. We have a team. So we can be at two places at one time now. Having the prep kitchen definitely has fostered more business.
When you're creating new things or new ideas, calzones, oxtail pizza, whatever it is, who is the group or individuals you go to taste test it to make sure that it's right, or who's the feedback you rely on to make the tweaks
Mhm.
that you need to?
I always go to my brothers first, make sure I get the okay from them. And really, yeah, like family. I go to my family first because they're gonna be honest. They have my best interests at heart, and I mean they're close. We're a tight knit group, so we're always around each other. And then after that, I call my longtime customers to be like, "Hey, come try this. Come try this. Come try this."
Yeah, and one of the things is then your nephews, the twins, are they both boys, I
Yeah,
think?
one
It
boy, one girl.
One boy, one girl. There you go. Is
Yeah,
when you talked about how you have future employees, and the reality is when they come to you and ask why they're getting paid minimum wage and they're doing a little more than everyone because they're family. and they're really getting a humbling lesson. The reality is you're going to have to tell them they're paying back all the free pizza you were giving them by taste testing up until then. So when they pay that back,
Y'all
in
ate
addition
good
to
in
getting
that
paid,
womb.
yeah,
They ate good in that womb.
yeah,
So
exactly,
yeah,
yeah.
y'all owe me at least 9 months.
So that's part of it, you know. But in
Yeah,
all seriousness, you know, what an opportunity for them to see an
yeah,
uncle in the future be an entrepreneur,
yeah.
and what that
hmm
legacy will compound if they take an entrepreneurial path similar to how it compounded in you.
Yeah, and
So,
working with family is awesome too. I worked with my dad and my brother before. I was just watching Landman on, I think Paramount is the network it comes on, and this latest episode featured Jerry Jones, had a little monologue in there, and he spoke about, the deals in which that he did that got him to buy the Cowboys, and how he's been proud of this and the third. The deal that he did that got him to be able to afford the Cowboys was solely based on him wanting to be closer to his daughter. And his greatest achievements aren't, owning the Cowboys or being an oil tycoon or a real estate mogul. It's, I got to work with my kids every day. And so that's something that is, I would definitely cherish. If I'm blessed to have kids, they definitely going to be in the kitchen with me. The niece and nephew is definitely going to be in the kitchen when they get of age. And I got, family right now. My cousin is one of my employees. So
there we
it's
go.
dope to work with family, to have that level of love around you too makes a product a lot better in my eyes.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that because as an entrepreneur, you need this support system. And
Yeah.
if it works out, the relationship and everything is, good there, the support is hard because when you're an entrepreneur, when you're on fire, when you're functioning at the level we grow to function at, because you're managing so many things. I mean, here we are, Matthew's really, we're talking about everyone's like, oh, he's a pizza guy who made a pizza business. He's a social media expert. He's a video maker. He's a splicer. He's an audio expert. He's probably a music expert. He's probably now become an engine expert, a truck expert, a trailer expert.
Oh man. Yeah. I've had to fix a couple of things.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. If I couldn't fix it, I had to figure it out. So yeah, that's the gift and the curse of being an entrepreneur is you wear many hats. My running joke right now is I just wanted to make pizza. I didn't want to be a social media or content creator. I didn't want to be a content creator. I just wanted to make pizza. But it all goes into the process. Yeah.
Gosh, I just said that. I know exactly what you're saying. I'm just a guy who went through a major transition in life. I just want to do a podcast and a food TV show. That's like, and everything that's attached to it has become so big that I'm just like, and I'm like, wait, I've got to manage what now and who? And I don't have any idea sometimes what I'm doing because a lot of it on the entertainment side is newer to me. But I do know exactly what you're saying. It's one of those things where you're like, wow, the whole purpose of this was this, but now in order to get there, I've had to do all these crazy new skills.
You had to do this, that, and the third too.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
And the social media thing, oh gosh, it's just part of being anything of an entrepreneur anymore, of any public facing business, period.
It's ingratiated itself in, society to where you can't do anything without some type of social media aspect.
Or there's no credibility anymore without it.
Yeah, no, right
Your
on.
business doesn't have it. If it's not popular and people don't like it, there's not a credibility factor.
Right. They don't ask for business cards anymore. They're like, do you have an Instagram?
Yeah. No kidding. I'm like, really? No, like no one asked me. I haven't carried business cards in probably like a decade, maybe.
Yeah.
Like really carried them. Have they been printed for me? Maybe here and there.
For sure. Yeah.
But everyone asks for my Instagram or my Facebook. Or now people have started asking for TikTok, which is this little alarm bell where I'm like, oh no, I got to start really doing the TikTok thing. I've been avoiding it forever, but it is
Oh
for
yeah.
my business to grow, for Justin to do what he needs to do from a social media standpoint, to build my brands and build the brand that is me. I have to
Yeah.
venture off into other things, which it's hard to imagine what those are. And some of them come with hard lessons and learning and harsh
Hmm.
feedback. And
Yeah.
sometimes you have to go and fix your mistakes from the past too, which is always a fun one. But at some point you have to do it anyway. So you're
Yeah.
either going to do it now
Yeah.
or
You
with
got to
God
do it. You got to
later.
do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do
So
it now. You got to do it. So
yeah, yeah. You just
you
got to
can't
do it.
escape it. Yeah.
So anything you want to share with the audience, Matthew, anything that's coming up for you that's exciting that you want to share with them, or anything going on in Atlanta that you're a part of that you feel is exciting, an event or something that, will push people there? Because one of the things I really want to say about Atlanta is it's totally a foodie town now. Go
It
do the
definitely is.
foodie tourism there. It is
It
incredible.
definitely is. Yeah, we're getting stuff on the calendar now. So I had a couple meetings this week. I had one earlier today to put a couple things in motion. Not much to speak on yet, because again, I don't like, I like counting my ducks when they're in a row, you know. But I'm just excited for 2025. I have a newfound invigoration to go harder and do more. So I definitely want to get into more brand partnerships this year. So we're talking with a couple people about collaborations, and I want to get the pizza outside of Georgia. So we got a couple opportunities to make that happen as well. So just excited to, continue doing something I enjoy, and spreading my talent, my God-given talent.
Yeah, look at that gold belly thing, dude. I'm telling you, I think
Oh,
you
definitely. No,
even,
appreciate that.
and
Appreciate that.
especially breaking your pizzas into components also, or selling components where people can even make their own pizza, or just your sauces,
Right.
all these
Right.
things that now that you have a commercial kitchen that you can open up your world in, that's pretty
Hmm.
incredible. That I wouldn't recommend that to most people. Depends on the talent. It depends on how you got to where you are. But I remember talking,
Hmm.
I know your process. I know your ingredients. I know the freshness. I know how much you make from scratch. So it works for
Right.
your model.
Definitely.
So that's pretty
Definitely. No, thank you.
awesome. Lastly, how do you grow yourself right now? If you need information about business, if you need information about a recipe, if you need information
Hmm.
about lawyers or accountants, like how do you go about growing and collecting the information or
Hmm.
education that you need to grow your business, experience, whatever?
Hmm. So, like I said, I've been blessed with great community individuals from, birth to now. So, first thing I do is utilize my network. I got lawyers for parents. I got accountants for friends. My best friend is a GM at a restaurant at the moment. So I rely firstly on the network, and then after that, take what they, advice that they give me, and then put in my own research, try to tailor their advice and information few pie specific. Because, the internet has a lot of resources and tools, but having firsthand knowledge and experience to get that segue from someone else, like I've been there, I've done that. Here's what I did. Here's what I think you can do. It's invaluable. So again, truly, truly blessed to have such a great community of individuals surrounding me and helping me move forward.
Amazing. I love it. One more time, Matthew, where can they find you guys on social media, about your events, about your latest flavors? Are you on YouTube? Lay it all on us.
Mm. So we're working on YouTube. Don't have one of those yet, but you can find us on social media at Phew Pies, PHEWPIES. Our website is phewpies.com, same spelling, PHEWPIES.com. If you would like to reach out, get us for some catering, private event, you can email us at phewpies@gmail.com. Again, PHEWPIES@gmail.com.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for listening in. I love you guys. I appreciate all the support. And as we go into another season, hitting it pretty hard. Yes, the goal is an episode every other day for 2025. That is the goal. Hopefully no hiccups, no anything like that, but that's the goal. That's why we're hitting a heavy recording schedule. If we get more than that and more interest and there's more entrepreneurs, we obviously will shift during the heavier times into a releasing an everyday format or multiples a day. I don't think it will ever get to multiples a day. I just feel that that's unfair.
That's a lot of work.
That's a
lot
of work. Yeah, it's a lot of work. But we could possibly get to an everyday scenario. But again, if you want to be on the show or you're listening in or you're an entrepreneur, there is a link in every show notes now. Since December 25th of 2024, we're in that link. There is a Calendly link to the podcast for an appearance. You can sign up there and just put some information in the notes about your business if you want to be on the show, and we can go from there. So thank you, Matthew, for doing another one. 2 years. I'm impressed. If you go back and listen to your original ones, I think you'll see your presentation, your character, your ability to talk and present in confidence has grown quite a bit. So that's kind of cool.
Thank you.
I'm glad I got to see that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I feel more confident nowadays too. So
yeah. You're wearing it well. So
thank you.
It was earned for sure. There's some scars underneath that armor, but
yeah.
So thank you again, everyone, for listening in, and we're out.